Caroline just told us that she's heard that, and I've heard this before too, that the average person switches careers like 7 times. It's crazy, but in a tight job market with there not being ample jobs available, sometimes you gotta find ways to be happy, and that means moving and shaking things around. Our next guest joins us from San Francisco, Paul Freiberger. We're talking about how to stir the ingredients for a career change and how best to go about making that change and then explaining it on your resume, especially if there's a lot of these abrupt changes. So, Paul, welcome. Thank you for waking up so early.
Oh, thank you. Good to be here.
Good. Okay. So the average worker today, according to the U.S. Department of Labor Statistics, changes careers, not jobs, careers, 3 times. So considerably less than Caroline mentioned. Do you think it's higher than 3 times? I think 3 times is a lot.
I think, well, it's a lot. It seems like a lot, but people are doing it, and it's actually not a bad thing.
And why is it not a bad thing?
Well, it makes our lives a little more entertaining, I think. It allows us to take advantage of the different skills that we have. In our lives, we do many different kinds of things every day, so there's no reason why we can't apply those skills in different jobs. And as long as we realize that it's acceptable nowadays to change careers, then we don't need to be afraid of it. We can rather embrace it.
But common wisdom says that every time you switch careers or start something very new, you typically have to start from the bottom up.
Well, common wisdom is changing, and if you play your cards right, you can sometimes take a sideways step into a new career, because you're not entering at the beginning as if you know nothing. You're starting with a set of skills that you've developed in the course of previous jobs, in the course of your education. So it's all about knowing how to go about making that change. So if you do it right, you really can be successful, not just in one career, but in many.
How do you explain your career change? Maybe, I don't want to say your lack of experience, but your different experience that you're bringing to the table when you're on a job interview?
You know, that's a really good question, and you want to be prepared, first of all. If you're going to a job interview, it's really all about preparation. Don't go in there not having any idea of what you're going to say. You want to be prepared. You want to, first of all, demonstrate that you have an excitement about the change you're about to make. You don't want to be negative and talk badly about what you've been doing or the people you've been working with or the direction of the company or the industry that you're in, even if somehow it may be going in the wrong direction. What you want to do is try to be positive about what your goals are and excited about how you can really make a difference in that new field.
Okay. Should you explain why you're making the move?
Well, yes, you explain again by showing a passion for making the change. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a desire to make that change. And just by virtue of the fact that you're willing to make a change can be seen as a positive. It shows that you've got a certain amount of courage. Mm-hmm. It shows that you're optimistic about what you're going to do. And it gives you a chance to come in and show that you've got a fresh set of eyes that you can bring into a situation. So those things are not seen as negatives as they once were.
Right.
Nowadays, actually, career change is not unusual, and it's something that people embrace.
It's a choice, not always a compulsion. How many times have you changed careers, if at all, in your life?
I've changed careers many times, many times.
What do you say to people who... Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
And I've enjoyed it. And the thing about changing careers is that it's often very challenging. But what I've found in my own career is that when you take on something new, something that feels a little daunting, those are the jobs that end up being the most rewarding. So I encourage people to be willing to take that step.
But what do you say to people who are scared to, not only scared because it is scary, but the job market's not the best right now?
Well, what I can say is the job market is better than it was, say, 10 years ago. And
really?
It's been gradually improving. It's been gradually improving over the course of the past at least 7 to 8 years.
Right.
And I agree, it is a little scary to change careers, and I don't tell anyone to do anything hasty. You want to be careful, you want to think through, you want to make sure you do some research, talk to people in the fields that you're thinking about changing into, do some informational interviews. So do your research, do your preparation. It's really crucial to be prepared.
When you're on we discussed how you should act for the interview, but what happens on the resume? How do you, on your one-page resume, make all of those career changes look like they tell some sort of narrative rather than being so abrupt?
Well, you don't necessarily focus on the job title. What you want to do is focus on the overlapping skills. You want to focus on the things that are aligned with the direction you want to move in. And you want to show that you've always accomplished something. You want your resume to indicate to the reader that this person makes a difference. And if you make a difference, if you've always made a difference in your previous jobs, then I'm probably going to believe that you can make a difference for me too.
But what do you, I mean, you got to imagine that employers who oftentimes use software to go through resumes to pick up on keywords and buzzwords, a resume that has so many different items on it won't necessarily pick up those buzzwords. It's not conducive to what many employers are looking for.
And that's why I encourage my clients when I'm talking to them about changing careers or changing jobs to make sure that they're not relying on keywords in a resume, but that they're doing a job search where they themselves are out there trying to connect with people. You want a human being to take that resume of yours, no matter how good it is. You want to try to get someone to hand it to the right person. So you need to be out there networking. You've got to talk to people. It's the most effective way to change jobs, to change careers, by making connections with people.
We'll leave it there. Thank you so much, Paul Freiberger. I also want to point out that you are an award-winning author and president of Shimmering Resumes. Your website, shimmeringresumes.com. And your book, When Can You Start? How to Ace the Interview and Win the Job. Thank you so much, Paul. Have a great day.
Thank you very much.
All right.